I'd like to begin with some housekeeping. I humbly request that you please keep your audio and video off during the session. We very much appreciate your support in this. Once we reach question and answer time at the end of this presentation, we welcome you to turn your audio and video on to ask questions. However, during the presentation itself, we thank you very much for keeping your audio and video off and typing any questions that you have into the chat. We very much welcome at any point for you to ask questions into the chat. That's something that we're very excited about today, is to hear from you what you'd like to know more about, what you have concerns about, and what isn't clear to you. So please, at any time, write your questions into the chat box of Zoom. Likewise, if you have any technical support requirements through the webinar, if you're unable to hear or see the slides, please type this into the chat box of Zoom and one of our organizing committee will be with you very shortly. Just a reminder that today's session will be recorded and made available on the Frontier SI website. So if you have any colleagues that didn't get the chance to register for today's event, they can view the recording from tomorrow, Thursday, 14th of July, 2022. And so now I'm very excited to welcome you to today's information webinar and question and answer session. My name is Roshni Sharma from Frontier SI. I'm joining you from Sydney, Australia. A common custom that we have in Australia is acknowledgement of country. Acknowledgement of country is a practice that allows us to take a moment to remember that the lands on which we meet and do business are the lands of the First Nations people, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of Australia, to you with this meeting from. So I live on a community that is situated on the lands of the Darug and Tharawal First Nations people. And I'm very thankful for the nourishment, sustenance, and connection to place and space that this land brings me and the people that I live, work, and play with. I respectfully recognize that this land was never ceded and that our lifestyles in today's world take much and give back little to the country that gives us life. I also recognize the deep wounds that colonization has given to the First Nations people across these lands and other lands around the world, and the importance of respecting culture and connection to country. I encourage you all, wherever you are today, to take a moment to look outside and appreciate the sunshine that powers the weather and climate that gives us life and sustenance, and appreciate the connection that we have to the environment that we exist in conjunction with, in symbiosis with. Very timely, given that today's event is speaking about climate smart innovation. I would also like to take a moment here to do an acknowledgement of language. I recognize that not all of us have English as a first language. If at any point in time anyone on this call would like us to repeat anything or is not clear about something that we have said, please type into the chat. Even just saying, could you please repeat that, is enough. We want to make you comfortable and strive to ensure that you feel able to be included to the full extent possible in this webinar and in this hackathon that we are designing. And so, welcome to today's event. I'd like to introduce all of the organising committee, who you'll see also have their webinar cameras on at the moment. We have online with us Dr. Amy Parker from CSIRO, Dr. Emma Luke from Geosciences Australia, Dr. Seren Eagleson and Dr. Caitlin Adams from Frontier SI, Rachel Horwood from Geosciences Australia, Matt Pageant from CSIRO, George Dyke from Symbios, and we're really pleased that you're joining us here. We would also like to take a moment to acknowledge all of the partner organisations who are supporting this event. This is a growing list. So we absolutely welcome if there are any organisations who would like to support this hackathon. We welcome you to approach us. This is a growing ecosystem and we accept all non-cash contributions such as data, time, support, etc. Please feel free to email us to get involved. We would love to have you with us. I'd now like to hand over to Dr. Amy Parker to give a brief background around Earth observation for climate change. Over to you, Amy.
Thanks very much, Roshni. I'll just check. I'm not sure we've got the latest version of the slides up. So the hackathon that we are running and that we're hoping that you would very much like to join us with is all about the use of Earth observation technology to look at how we can use this type of data to address the issues of climate change. How can we use satellite imagery? How can we use data from airborne sensors like drones or ground-based sensors and use those to better understand the challenges that are facing our populations? So I'll just pause a second while Roshni grabs the slides.
Thank you for your patience. I'm just pulling up the latest version of the slides.
Thank you, Roshni. And so what I've just described to you, you can see there in the icons, we can use data collected from satellites, from ground-borne sensors, from UAVs, from drones, and we can combine that with information about where people live, about where our coastlines are, about where our towns and cities are, and use that to understand our planet and understand the places in which we live. So on the next slide, you'll see two examples of where Earth observation imagery has been used for application to some of the impacts of climate change. On the left, we have an example where forest loss in Vietnam has been tracked for many decades using Earth observation imagery. And then in the center, we have an example where the water quality in Sarawak in Malaysia has also been studied using this type of information. So in the bottom, you can see there a sediment plume where fresh water has carried sediment during flooding into the ocean. And then in the top, you can see the analysis of the total suspended sediments in the water. So really, Earth observation provides us with this total satellite bird's eye view of our planet. It allows us to monitor changes in the environments as snapshots over time. And from this, we can understand what the impacts on our environment from deforestation, coastal erosion, urban sprawl, from saline intrusion, so the impacts on our water resources, and also the impacts from natural disasters. So how can we monitor flooding over time? And ultimately, having a better understanding of our Earth systems and processes allows governments, scientists, and businesses to make better data-driven decisions to plan for our future. So the next slide, please, Roshni. So to give you a bit of further context, over the last 20 years, our region has really experienced exceptional growth and development. but it's also experienced the most natural disasters in the world and some of the most significant impacts of climate change. Our proximity to each other in our region means that we are very well placed to help each other with many things, and that includes supporting each other to use science to solve some of these problems that are faced by our region. We also have evidence of the economic value of working together, and this shows that regional collaboration is both important and worthwhile. So in this image on the right-hand side, this is taken from a report that was written in 2019 on the economic value of Earth and marine observations to the Asia Pacific. And this found that there is significantly more return to the region's economy when we collaborate and work together to increase the impact and the uptake of this type of data. So the next slide, please. So the hackathon that we are inviting you to is part of a new initiative called Earth Observation for Climate Smart Innovation. And under this initiative, we are using technology to unlock access to Earth observation to develop climate smart applications in Southeast Asia. And in doing this, we not only want to increase access to an uptake of Earth observation data, but we're also supporting the growth of a market in Southeast Asia for Earth observation products and services. And by bringing groups, organizations, companies together from Australia and from Southeast Asia, we're really hoping to support engagement for mutual benefit and also to work together to deliver supported and locally tailored solutions. So next slide, please. So this slide gives you a summary of the activity overall. So the first stage of the activity was to build the platform that we can actually use to undertake our Earth observation analysis. And this is based on the Open Data Cube technology, and it runs on an open commercial cloud and uses openly licensed Earth observation data. We've then undertaken an early adopters project, developing capability through platform training and producing a case study. And this is shown to you in a bit more detail on the next slide. What we've worked with early adopters of this technology and platform at Hasanuddin University in Indonesia. And the objective of their project was to understand the impacts of flooding on the quality of water in Lake Tempe, which is located in South Sulawesi. So analysis was undertaken using two different satellite data sets, Landsat and Sentinel-2, and these were used to create maps of water frequency, so the flooding itself, to look at measurements of total suspended sediments, so looking at the impacts upon water quality. And these algorithms were co-developed, shared and tested by the team that is running the hackathon and Hasanuddin University. So through using this technology, the idea is that we are able to take steps towards improving regulatory approaches. And in turn, this will result in sustainable environmental and resource management. So the next step in the activity that we are inviting you to join us in is the hackathon. So the next slide, please. Is the hackathon, which we are going to be providing you more information about today. So I'll hand back over to Roshni.
Thank you very much, Amy. We're very, very excited about this hackathon, and we wanted to talk about who can participate. Essentially, no matter what level of Earth observation experience that you have, we're really excited to have you join us. We have a focus on Southeast Asia and the ASEAN nations of Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Laos, Philippines, and Brunei, as well as Australia. If you live in one of these countries, or if your work is relevant to one of these countries, we welcome you to take part. If you live and work in another part of the world and are also interested in the themes of the hackathon, we also invite you to register. And we are about to put into the chat the link to our website where you can go and complete your registration. It's a simple form: your first name, last name, email address, which of the themes you're interested in for the hackathon, and what draws you to the hackathon. The registration form takes less than a minute to complete. We welcome people to join the hackathon no matter what level of experience they have with Earth observation. So if your skill set has nothing to do with Earth observation, but you're still interested in climate smart innovation, don't worry, you can still take part. You'll be able to bring your knowledge, whether it is a creative solution or your understanding of climate impacts on the ground, or it might be a legal set of expertise. All of that is still valuable. Many other skill sets are also just as valuable. So we welcome you to apply or register for the hackathon, even if you don't have Earth observation experience. For those who do have some level of Earth observation experience, registering and taking part in this hackathon can help you to get even better at using Earth observation, and also, importantly, give you networking opportunities to connect with other developers and other users who can share and co-design your vision. If you're an experienced user of Earth observation, or you're business ready with an idea that has already been validated and has begun to be produced, then we have Earth observation related products and services that we can support you with. We can also support you with those networks and technical training to amplify your impact. In short, everybody will benefit from the opportunity to get support as long as you bring your big idea related to climate smart innovation. We'll be very happy to support you and help you to grow your impact. In terms of what we'll be doing in the actual hackathon week itself, it might run for a full week, but that does not mean that you need to spend a full week of your time on the hackathon. We estimate that it will take a time commitment of about 2 to 3 hours per day. If you go to our website, frontiersi.com.au/climate-innovation-hack, which is also in the chat, you'll be able to see the full program. As you can see in the summary provided here, on the Monday, we have an opening ceremony, followed by networking and technical information sessions. Tuesday, we have technical workshops, followed by keynotes, networking, and then a further technical information sessions. Wednesday and Thursday, we have technical support, keynotes, and networking. On Friday, we have technical support before we have the closing ceremony. We are aware that there are many different time zones taking part in this hackathon. Therefore, at the opening ceremony and the networking sessions on the Monday, we will validate via a poll to see whether there is potential to open up further time slots for networking or potentially technical support, because we know that not everybody will be available at all of these times. Sessions will be recorded and made available for everyone who registers. So if you are concerned that you may not be able to make these specific times, but are still interested, we encourage you to register so that you'll still be able to access all of the recordings and participate. We will have a Discord app which will run and be available to everybody who registers to take part in the hackathon, which means that you will be able to take part and network, have access to all of the resources via our Discord channel, meaning that you can work at any time that suits you. Whether you're somebody who likes to wake up early and work with breakfast on this hackathon, whether you'd like to take part and have permission from your organization to take part in these sessions during the day or your lunch hour, or whether you're a night owl like me who likes to take part in sessions like this after work is finished, feel free to register and have access to all of these components of the hackathon. We have a range of amazing keynote speakers that we're so excited to bring to you, featuring speakers such as Alison Rose from Geoscience Australia, Jasmine Muir from Frontier SI, Donna Lawler from Azimuth Advisory, Daniel O'Toole from Austrade, Mark Matthews from Cyano Lakes, Dr. Andang Suryana Soma from Unhas, Professor Roland Barkey from Unhas, and Nick Sauter from Conservation International. This is a growing list, so watch our website for more keynote speakers as they are announced. As I've mentioned as well, one of the key opportunities for participants during this hackathon is networking. We offer structured networking that allows you to really tap into the knowledge and experience of people who are really passionate about the same things that you are when it comes to climate smart innovation. We have a range of networking sessions and options. We'll have speed networking, networking focused on the different challenge themes, networking focused on idea validation with subject matter experts, networking focused on EO and climate science and how you can translate these to support your big idea for climate smart innovation, and networking to connect you to the people to fill the gaps to make your big idea reality. In terms of what success looks like through this hackathon, you will gain new skills, you will grow your networks, you'll learn from industry-leading professionals, you'll develop your ideas in a guided, structured way, and you'll also understand market challenges and user needs. After the hackathon, people who participate will be able to submit their big ideas. They don't need to be fully formed. We recognize that the hackathon is 5 days long. So we welcome all participants in the hackathon to present their big ideas during the closing ceremony of the hackathon. A panel of judges will then, over the coming week, review submissions, and selected use cases will then advance to phase 2 of the Earth Observation for Climate Smart initiative, which will involve additional technical training and support, business coaching, specifically focused towards commercialization and business development, and additional product refinement. So, in terms of the timeline of what we'll be doing with key dates, we have here hackathon registrations will close on the 21st of July. That is this coming next Thursday. So we welcome you to submit this as soon as you can. You can submit your hackathon registrations at the link that has just been posted in the chat, frontiersi.com.au/climate-innovation-hack. The actual hackathon week is from Monday 25th of July to Friday 29th of July. Submissions will close the following day on the 30th of July. And then during early August, I'd humbly request if anyone who has their mic unmuted to please remain muted. Just for now, we'll open up questions very soon, I promise. Please also feel free to put your questions into the chat. So in early August, Phase 2 participants will be notified. And then in mid-August, we'll have co-design workshops with technical and subject matter experts. From August to September, we will offer Open Data Cube or ODC technical training and business coaching for these Phase 2 participants. And then in early September, the Phase 2 participants will go through a process of prototype development alongside further business coaching. In early October, there'll be a prototype showcase workshop, and then further business development and commercialization refinement activities through from November to February 2023. I'd now like to pass over to Dr. Amy Parker to speak again about the technology that we will use, the EASY platform. Over to you again. Oh, this is Matt Padgett. Thank you very much, Matt, who is now joining us on screen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Matt Padgett. I run some of the technical arm of this project and managing the platform and the data feeds and so forth. And there's a team of people who we work with around that. I'm just going to give a couple of quick slides that give a quick overview, I suppose, a frontline overview of what the platform is and what we can do with it. And as we go forward through the hackathon process, particularly the hackathon week and then activities following that, we'll go into more depth around what the platform capabilities are. But for now, just a quick high-level introduction. So next slide, please. So we've heard quite a lot about Earth observation data and how it helps us to understand and manage our planet on local, regional and global scales. However, there are challenges in working with these types of data, large Earth observation collections. In particular, increasing volumes of data available from multiple satellites with increasing resolution, time, space and spectral bands can be expensive to access and process some of these data, particularly as an individual or an organisation. And doing so, we can potentially introduce inconsistencies in data processing workflows between individuals, organisations, and at country level as well. So this graphic and the intent here is to demonstrate that we have the capability now and the desire to move from the before picture where everyone was doing their own processing workflows and chains to coordinating and consolidating our activities around some of the more common heavy lifting, if you like, some of the common data processing workflows and access to these data in their cloud hosted resources. Next slide, please. One second. So this is a quick summary of where the platform sits within the ecosystem of similar Earth observation platforms and capabilities available to many of us. Generically, we call all these Earth observation data science platforms, and they all share a similar goal, that is the Open Data Cube software, of which we're a part of, Google Earth Engine, Microsoft Planetary Computer, and through the European Copernicus program, various thematic exploitation platforms in Europe. So all of these share a common goal. They're all about increasing the impact and value of satellite data, providing an Earth observation data analysis platform and architecture, so we can mostly so we can take our compute to the data rather than an old-fashioned way of moving our data to our laptops or desktops. And each also tries to foster a community to grow the technology and applications. Earth observation, the Open Data Cube, so is one of these pathways to go. So it's we put it up there with the likes of Google Earth Engine, Microsoft Planetary Computer as a platform and a mechanism by which to work on and consolidate and make consistent our processing workflows. The Open Data Cube software is used as part of Digital Earth Australia and Digital Earth Africa platforms, and a number of other companies and organisations have adopted this software into their own working practices as well. The Open Data Cube is a key component of CSIRO's Earth Analytics Science Innovation Platform, and that's the main term for EASY, Earth Analytics Science Innovation Platform. So when we talk about EASY, we're talking about CSIRO's cloud-based analytics platform using for Earth observation and other data analysis using the Open Data Cube, and as an implementation sits alongside, if you like, Digital Earth Africa and Australia. And with this project and the partnership with Geoscience Australia, between CSIRO and GA and Frontier, we get to leverage a lot of the expertise across those other Digital Earth initiatives. Next slide, please. So this is just a quick summary of where we're at currently with the Asia deployment of our EASY platform. For most users, you enter via a Jupyter Lab environment. Sitting behind the system is an Open Data Cube database and many data processing and preparation workflows that populate the Open Data Cube database with scene level information, metadata. And then as a Jupyter Lab user, you have access to a range of, or the full set of, if you like, Python data science libraries for geospatial processing, machine learning, scalable horizontal processing with a Dask library, many capabilities that we can exploit, both from as a user point of view within Jupyter Lab, but also exploiting some of the scalable cloud technology that in which the platform is already built as well. In addition to the Jupyter Lab primary interface, there are some web app services that provide other levels of data, such as GeoServer and an Open Data Cube Explorer map feature. And we're populating a set of notebooks targeted directly towards the hackathon into a GitHub repository. So as we build that up over the next couple of weeks, and you request login access to the platform, you can grab those notebooks and start working with them and contributing back to them if you wish. The data sets currently available and in our backlog and pipeline, all of the Landsat series of data from USGS, all of the Sentinel-2 data from an organisation called Element 84. There's a few digital elevation models, both global and some national ones as well, and some sea surface temperature and ocean colour data sets from the MODIS satellite sensor, and a couple of meteorology data sets around rainfall and winds. Very soon, weeks, we'll have Sentinel-1 backscatter product coming online, and MODIS land products as well coming into phase. So, and we understand and recognise the the importance and value of Himawari for the region and different meteorology data sources as well. You are very welcome to contribute suggestions to our development and backlog list. We'd be particularly interested to hear of, I think we've got a fair understanding of where most of the Earth observation data sets can come from, and some of the global gridded products, such as the meteorology products listed on this slide. So anything is specific around those aspects is welcome, but anything, we also have the opportunity to upload or connect to or develop a preparation pipeline for national data sets as well. So as we build these data workflows, we do have to take some, we have to be aware of any licensing issues around data access primarily, and any associated sovereign issues, but potentially around national data sets. We understand that. We'll take that into consideration with your advice if you're proposing a data set. And we have various mechanisms to make some data sets selectively available to individuals depending on license arrangements for certain data sets. We can do that. Our preference might be to focus on open data sets that are available to everyone. That's it for the summary. In a couple of words, EASY is a data analysis processing platform born out of the Earth observation data analysis domain. It's hosted in Amazon Web Services, and it's well managed, secure, has excellent legacy in terms of its software libraries that it uses and develops against, and maintains currency against. And I find it actually a really exciting place to do most of my regular work these days. It has an environment that is built for a lot of cases. So really looking forward to hearing more about your suggestions about what you could do with some of these data and with such a platform. I think I might leave it there and provide an opportunity for questions when the time is right. Thank you, Roshni.
Thank you very much, Matt. So I'd now like to invite anyone who has a question to pop your questions either into the chat or use the raise hand function to let us know what your question is. So I'd like to start with the first question from Dr. Michael Chang from Macquarie University here. Is EASY free to use?
I might answer that one if that's okay. Not exactly, Michael, and the reason for that is just so we can provide the right funding mechanisms for technical sustainability reasons. There are costs associated with operating in the cloud, so we look to cover those costs. In the context of using EASY for this hackathon, many of the costs are covered by the umbrella project agreement between CSIRO and Geoscience Australia and Frontier. It's part of what we're doing and why we're here today. So signing up through this process, you essentially get free access to the platform, but the platform is not free for everyone outside of this process. So we have a variety of business models and approaches. We can talk to individual organisations about pathways forward beyond or outside of this hackathon process.
Thanks very much, Matt. We have another question here from Julian Vanderberg. What are the expected commercial outcomes from the hackathon? I might ask perhaps Emma if you'd like to take that question.
Yeah, sure. Very happy to. So I think firstly, it's really important to note that we're going to end up with a lot of wonderful ideas through the process of bringing everyone together through this week. Some of them will be easy to do and to progress into the next stage of development on the platform. Others might need a little more time and thinking. So my view is that the first major achievement of the week will be a set of fantastic new ideas, in addition to the partnerships and friends that you make throughout the week and the new learnings that you have. In terms of the commercial outputs themselves, really, I think it would be moving an idea or a concept closer to the stage where it might be become in the future an API or app. So I'm not a tech person myself, but that's along the lines of what we were thinking. It's a little hard to know how much work will be involved until we know what the good ideas are, because perhaps they will need different data sets, which if your idea or your concept goes through to the next phase, so it's a shortlisted idea, CSIRO, Frontier SI, GA, and a range of other partners will work with you to get that idea closer to a business-ready stage.
Thank you very much, Emma. We have another question here from Mark Govington. Is there a set of criteria that will be used to judge the ideas? And are we required to provide supporting information during our presentations to the judging panel? So I suppose this opens up an interesting point as well around IP. One thing that we would love to make really clear from the outset is that as you work through the hackathon, any ideas that you have, any IP that you generate is yours. I might ask any of the other organising committee members to step in here and expand on that if you'd like to.
Yeah, I think it's worth stating that there will be a participants agreement which will outline those terms and conditions, just to make sure that everyone's very clear that their good ideas will be protected.
And perhaps in terms of the criteria that will be used to judge the ideas, I think that we welcome supporting information. However, we are really interested in supporting you to work on developing your ideas as much as possible, and not creating an environment where you're required to defend them to the nth degree. So we support you to bring your ideas, be open to finding collaborations that can support you to make your ideas and create them into something that you know, is real and impactful. We really want to act as a catalyst to support the development of your ideas and to support you to make those ideas into what you would like them to be. Supporting information is welcome, but not required. We'd love to hear any more questions. Oh yes, a great question here. Will translation services be available?
I think it's a really good question. I don't think it's something we've directly discussed, but let's imagine that we as a group here aren't going to build translation tools. Maybe a tool like Google Translate or expertise within countries and domains can help forge a pathway for us with that one.
Just in addition to that, Matt, that's a great technical solution. which is super exciting. In addition, we would encourage participants at the start of the week, if they need the assistance of a translator or translation services, to just let our organising team know. And then we can make sure that you have what you need to get your ideas out there and supported by the hackathon participants and community.
We have another great question here from Bam Razafindarabe. My apologies if I mispronounced your name there. Is the presentation to the judging panel made individually or by groups formed during the networking session? So that is a really, really good question. It's our hope that you will be able to form groups through the networking sessions and through the hackathon experience itself, so that you will be able to submit your ideas at the end of the hackathon week as a group. We also welcome individual submissions as well, so both are possible. And I welcome any other members of the organising committee to add any further comments to that if they'd like to.
Thank you, Roshni. I was just going to add that we welcome people may have ideas or things that they're working on at the moment and use their hackathon as a catalyst for those. And in that scenario, maybe forming a group wouldn't be the way forward through the hack. But equally, if people have a skill set that and they're open to forming a group, then we'll certainly be facilitating that.
Thank you very much, Saren. We have a really great question here from Son Lam from the University of Wollongong. The registration page seems to be designed for an individual person. Can we form one team from universities, for example, across Australia and Vietnam, and third-party organisations? Really good question, Son Lam. So we encourage you to form teams. Yes, absolutely. We hope that each individual on the team can register. However, we absolutely encourage you to form teams and register for the hackathon together, knowing that you would like to work with each other beforehand so that you're ready to hit the ground running as soon as the hackathon starts. We really encourage people to form collaborations and come to this hackathon with other people who you know that you would like to work with or might even be working with already. And as Emma has mentioned in the chat, we also hope that through the hackathon itself, you're able to meet others that that share your passions for your ideas and for the impact that you want to have. And hopefully through the process of going through the hackathon, the existing bonds you have with your team get stronger, and you might even meet new people to bring into your team because they're excited about what you're excited about too. Another question from Mark. Are we able to have more than one person from an organisation involved in the hackathon? Yes, you can have as many people from as many organisations involved. We welcome anyone to register. We are definitely not limited to how many people can participate in the event. It is virtual. A question from Adrian. Do we have to attend all sessions during the hackathon week? You don't need to. All sessions, all the keynote sessions will be recorded. So we welcome you to attend those. All the technical presentations will also be recorded and available for you to view. As long as you register, you'll have access to the recordings. You can view those anytime during the hackathon week. So if you're interested at all, you can take part in your own time And as we mentioned earlier as well, we'll also have the Discord platform available, so you can network at any time with people on Discord. You can also work at, we know there's multiple time zones, so you can work within the time of day that works best for you in your time zone. And on the Monday, we will take a poll of everybody who attends the opening ceremony and initial networking sessions to see what other times might suit, so we can open additional networking sessions and potentially additional technical sessions at other times to support. Two quick questions here. One, will there be prizes? And two, what will happen in the tech drop-in sessions? Are these to get individual assistance with using the ODC? So I will pass to members of our organising committee for both of those questions.
So I'm happy to talk about the prizes, Roshni. So participants selected for phase 2 will receive additional in-kind business and technical support after the hackathon to further develop their use cases. We won't be providing cash prizes. But the prize is, I guess, that your concept will get closer to a commercial ready stage.
Perhaps Matt, if you'd like to speak about the tech drop-in session.
Sure. Not being too prescriptive in how we organise a tech drop-in session. The first couple early in the week will be a little bit more us showing what's possible and how to get around the system and answering initial questions. But I think as the week develops, we expect our contribution from the tech drop-in to be a little bit more focused around addressing questions that each of the teams might have. How does this work? How does that work? Can I get this? Would it make sense to connect A to B and so forth? As noted, I think in Roshni's timeline earlier in this session, there's an opportunity to do more in-depth training and self-help work on the platform around specific components and data sets following the actual hackathon week.
Thank you both, Emma and Matt. We have another great question here from Adrian. How can we prepare for Hackathon Week for new users? Seren or Matt, I might pass to you for this one.
I was really thinking about Caitlin. So a bunch of documents are being developed at the moment, and I'll let Caitlin talk further about the work that's going on there.
Yeah, thanks, Saren. So the team at Frontiers I and CSIRO are working on putting together some initial documentation and examples that will help you understand how to use the Easy platform. We aren't ready to quite make that public just yet, but certainly by registering for the hackathon, we can get in touch when there are some more materials available to do a little bit of prep work. Certainly the early sessions in the hackathon will be all about getting you up to speed technically, but I really do appreciate that question in terms of, you know, making sure you can make the best use of your time during the hackathon. So Matt, did you want to say anything about registration, sign up process for the Easy platform?
Sure, thank you, Caitlin. Pretty easy. Once you've signed up through the webpage for the hackathon, I understand you receive a participant agreement to sign, terms and conditions and responsible behaviour, those sort of aspects, IP and licensing and all sorts of other necessary conditions and terms. A part of that sign up process should be that you provide your email address to us and a preferred username for yourself, and then that information comes through to me, and it's a pretty straightforward task to create an account for you. At which point, once I create the account, you receive an automated email from the system with a temporary password that you change at first login. And then you also know my email address to ask me questions, I guess, thereafter.
Matt is always available for technical questions and support.
Yes, welcome, always.
So we have, actually Stephen Page here has mentioned that he registered but has not received any email contact yet. Yes, Stephen, so registrations have been coming in. We have been receiving them. We have not yet made any communications out to those who have registered, but expect that soon. Later this week, we will send confirmations of those who have registered to confirm that we have received your application, and then through next week we will be sending further information out. There's a great question here. What is the geographic coverage of Earth observation for climate smart innovation and the EASY platform?
As large as we wish, but nominally Southeast Asia. At present, much of our data coverage is Papua New Guinea through to North Vietnam and all of Malaysia. We can extend some of that as necessary, but for some of these data, it's a balance between how much data we might need to process and store to cover a larger region. Some data sets are quick and easy, so we go big region, but some other ones we just have to be a little bit more conscious of the time, the latency that it might take to make those data available. So the Open Data Cube Explorer interface, which was one of the URLs on one of my earlier slides, that gives you a current coverage of the Earth observation data sets linked into the database. If you would like to see that extended to a different coverage region, then please just let me know, and that can be arranged, or I can tell you what the outcome, what the scenario might be around extending coverage. In practice, extending Landsat and Sentinel coverage is really easy. Sentinel-2 coverage, that's really easy for us. Other things, a bit more consideration.
So 2 final questions that we'll cover very quickly here. I'm conscious of the time. The first, what is the time period of data available for use in the hackathon? And lastly, does the knowledge of sandbox platforms at Digital Earth Australia or Africa help to know more about the EASY platform, or are those completely different? Perhaps Matt or Emma.
So time period data available for Landsat and Sentinel-2, for example, full time series. So everything from start of data through to, I think presently, I need to update it from a couple of months to present. So generally full-time series available. It's just spatial coverage we consider depending on scope of cases. Knowledge of Digital Earth Australia and Africa sandbox platforms is very helpful because there's a lot of commonality for the right reasons. We've worked closely with Geoscience Australia on these Open Data Cube platforms and initiatives for a number of years now. So, and I think through this exercise, we've got actually an opportunity to bring things even a little bit closer together.
Wonderful. So thank you again, everybody, for joining this information webinar. A reminder that if you would like to register for this hackathon, please visit frontiersi.com.au/climate-innovation-hackathon. hack. And also that if you or somebody that you know would like to review the information covered in today's webinar, then if you visit that same website, this recording will be available tomorrow, Thursday, the 14th of July, and registrations for the hackathon close next Thursday on the 21st of July. If you would like to ask us any questions, please feel free to email me at rsharma, rsharma @frontieraside.com.au, and we as a team will do our best to help you with all of your questions. We really hope to see you join us for the webinar. We're very excited and hope that this is a great project that helps us to make a real impact on climate change and create innovation that is long-lasting over space and time. Thank you very much, and we're very thankful that you joined us today. Goodbye.